Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alison. I am the Dotty Daisy here on YouTube and Instagram, recently on TikTok. Not sure how long that will last. Girls convinced me that it was a good thing to do. It is Monday the 1st of September. It is the first day of spring in Australia. So I went all out, wore my spring colours, put in some flower earrings, try to encourage the weather. It didn't really work. I think the only thing that could make it worse today would be if it was raining. I am actually surprised that it's not. So this is my Floss Tube number 2. I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who has watched, who has subscribed. An awesome thank you to Laura from Cotton and Clay and Butterfly Stitches, and Lindsay from Stitching Magic 111, who gave me a shout out on their floss tubes. It was really lovely. So thank you. And to everyone who has commented, either here or on my Instagram, it's been really, really lovely. So I will do a couple of shout outs at the end, just people that I've actually been watching and have been watching for a while. So before I started doing my floss tube, and I will just shout those people out, but I'm going to write down on one of my little cards everyone that I do mention today. So Laura and Lindsay. So today we're going to I'm going to talk about so I've got some FFOs, I've got a new start, I've got some whips, I've got some plans, I've got a bit of life. I haven't really done a lot of life stuff, just told you, you know, the bare bones about the family, but we might have a little bit of a chat about that, but that'll be right at the end. So if you're not interested in my drama, then you can just head off after that. Alrighty, so let's start with the FFOs. Now, 2 of these I only did this morning. While I was watching Floss Tube. So on Mondays, I don't work. And it is pretty much the best day for me to film because I don't make plans on Mondays. It's my day off, and I don't plan anything. It's my day. So this is my first one, and it's an embroidery, but I did start this at the end of last year when both my mum and my husband were in hospital. So I was sort of like moving from room to room to room, spending a lot of time in waiting rooms. So I did that. Now I can't remember what it's called. I'll pop it up on the screen because I did talk about it in my first video. Now I just finished that. I just put some adhesive velvet on the back. I thought about felt, and I couldn't find my big girl glue gun. I could only find my little girl glue gun, and there wasn't enough glue in it, and I needed it for something else. So I used the velvet. So that's the first one. So these are going to go inside in my stitchy corner. So I have a little stitchy corner inside the house. It's literally like a little lounge room, but it's right next to the back door. It's got a 2-seater couch, and it's got a TV cabinet with a TV on it. That's where I hang out. And if I walk in the back door, the first question anyone asks if they're sitting on that couch is, did you want to sit here? Do you want to? So it's pretty much well known as my stitchy corner. So that's going over in the stitchy corner. The other piece that I did is this one. Now, I also spoke about this one in my last video, and this was the one that had next to no margins, literally no margins. It was interesting trying to get this one. So the back of it doesn't look too bad. That's what I needed the glue gun for, because I've just popped that to cover some of the And it does look nice on the front, but just to cover some of the threads from the no margins. So what I did was I just put another piece of linen, embroidery linen underneath. I didn't sew it on. I didn't do any of that. I just put another piece on and used that as part of the backing. And yeah, so that's a piece of self-adhesive velvet as well. I did actually buy the self-adhesive velvet to finish the back of Mill Hills. Now, I don't know if I showed this one last week. I don't think I did. But so that was the first Mill Hill I ever did. So coffee, yes. Coffee is my thing. And so I just bought some for that. So I've got a few Mill Hills Christmas ones, so I probably should start doing those because I love Christmas. Sometimes I don't love Christmas. A lot of Christmas things have snow. I don't have snow in the winter, so I'm not going to get snow in the summer at Christmas time. But that's fine. I like to find things that don't necessarily have snowmen or whatever, but it is hard. Alrighty, so the last FFO. I love this. Oh, it's very, oh look, there you can see my camera reflecting in that. So this is my Grow Your Garden by Yasmin's Made with Love. I got slightly obsessed about this in the end. And I just had this frame. I had actually bought this frame for something else. I'm just trying to not have my reflection there. I had bought this for something else, and I'm still umming and ahhing about how I want to frame the something else because there are a couple of different parts that I'd be able to pop on and off through the year. So I'm still deciding, but I just got this frame from Kmart, and I think it cost me $12. I did watch a video by Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch, and I followed it as loosely as I could. I did get to a point where it was a bit like, well, I can't do that because I don't have that. But I did use her tutorial. I love her tutorials. So I'm just writing her down as well. So yeah, so I am absolutely loving that. So now I am, so my new start, it's stuck in the middle of my whips because that's where I've put it. A bit of a, it was right down the bottom, but that's okay. I haven't done a great deal on this. There's a, so I got, this is the cotton and twine. Was it the August? July. No, the July. So I'm going to put, oh, I've actually got the, I have had so much trouble. Now, normally I, when I get a paper pattern, so this is the one that it is. So it's Busy as a Bee, My Needle and Me. Again, made by, designed by Yasmin's Made with Love. So I subscribe to the Cotton and Twine monthly box. This was my first one. Now, so the pattern, it comes as a paper pattern. I usually scan them and just upload into Markup RXP. That's my preferred method. I have not been able to get it to scan. I'm really struggling. It could be user error, but I'm going to take it to work again tomorrow and I'm going to give it one more turn or one more go. If it doesn't go, I'm just going to use the chart. I will just photocopy the chart and have a working copy, and I will just do that. So I haven't done a lot. I did do a middle start on this because I wasn't really quite sure where I would need to be. So yeah, so I did a middle start. Normally I don't do middle starts unless I absolutely have to. So I've got a couple of starts coming up that I'm probably going to have to. But yes, so that's the top of the B, and I've just started some of the words. So that was a start this month because I finished the other Yasmin's Made with Love, and in my head that makes sense. And I've taken the everything off that because I did iron. I ironed. I feel like it's not that hard to iron when I'm out here because well, my ironing board's sitting right next to me now, but as a rule my ironing board is behind me in the shed because I do sewing and all of those sorts of things. So the needle minder that I've got on that one is because it's a bee. So that that needle minder came from Lindsay at Stitching Magic 111. I got a couple of hers. I think they're gorgeous. They're beautiful. And she, I believe, will be restocking her shop today. And this is my project card for my Busy as a Bee. So it's the Cotton and Twine Busy as a Bee, designed by Yasmin's Made with Love. I'm doing that on a 32 count linen with the DMC supplied. The project bag was made by me, and I started that on the 23rd of August. And so this was the July box. The August one was Halloween inspired. When we used to live in Canberra, we sort of like danced around the edge of Halloween just because of the amount of international families that lived in the area. We lived in a very very densely populated defence area, so there was lots of internationals who Halloween was just a thing. So we did a little bit then. My girls have done a little bit of Halloween, but as a rule, I don't do Halloween. So I did put a stop to that. Just sent an email and said, can I please not have the Halloween one? I don't do Halloween stitching. Perfect. Got a refund within a day. It was brilliant. So that's fine. I think the new one is out, but Cotton and Twine have also just changed up their subscription as well. I get the box because that was the only one. So that's the first one that I got, and that came with some goodies as well. I did show it the last time. There was a little notions pouch. There is the frame to frame it at the end. There was a bag of lollies. You know, there was a few bits and pieces, and I thought that was fabulous. So it's £22 plus postage. I'll let you work that out. It's not expensive. How cool would it be if I was paying $22 in postage for that? It'd be fabulous. So I'm still going to keep getting the full kit because I've only had one. I want to just make sure that I really, really want to love them and fully finish them and all of those things. But you can now actually just get, they've made 3 different tiers. So there's the full tier, which I'm going to continue to get. I may step that back later, depending. So it's the full tier, which gives you the finishing, the pattern, the threads, the cotton, the fabric. You also get all of the finishing items, get a little sweet treat, and usually you'll get a little something else. So I'm going to keep getting those because I like all the good things. I think you can then also just get the kit, so just the pattern, the fabric, and the thread. And then I think you can get just a PDF, which is probably where I'm going to head to, but I want to get some more of the kits. So I reckon I'll probably do 12 months as the full kit, and then I might just switch to the PDF, just because really everything I love is in the UK, and it's but that's okay. I'm more than happy to keep going with that. So that's my my first new start. So I've just got my my notes down here. I'm just going to take these as they are. So I didn't have a lot of whips this month. This one didn't get ironed. It's still on his it's still on the nerd tube. Because this is the one that I have been doing for, this is my Vuelta challenge. I quite like watching the tours, the grand tours. We watch a lot of cycling in our house. Unfortunately, a lot of it is in that other hemisphere that doesn't include Australia. So late at night. So my husband watches most of them, and each day he'll just yell out, "Yep, they're doing 163 kilometres tonight. Excellent. What time are they starting?" And he'll tell me if I'm not watching a Floss Tube or something, I will turn the cycling on and I will mute it and have a book going. So I'm watching the boys cycling up the hill and I'm listening to a book and I'm stitching on this one. Which is nearly finished. I think I'm going to absolutely smash this one out of the park for the Vuelta. So up to here, so there's 2 more patterns, and I will pop a picture of it up. So this one has been the Blackwork on the back stitch on that. It's so effective. It was hideous. It took me so long to actually work out what I was doing. And I got to the bottom yesterday. I was like, yay. And then I was like, oh, I've got a whole other column of it. But I'd caught up. I hadn't done any Vuelta stitching for 4 days because I had other things I was doing. So I did that yesterday. Yesterday was Sunday. I did go out and watch a game of netball, and then I came home and I was like, oh, Sunday, that's the day I usually spend in my pajamas. So after being out in the freezing cold yesterday, I came home and put my pajama pants on and sat on the couch, and I listened to a book. I watched some Floss Tube. I caught up on my Vuelta stitching. So I'm just roughly, I'm not even counting I am counting the back stitching, but it's Markup RXP doesn't count your back stitching. So I'm just guesstimating. I'm counting each stitch as a stitch, and the back stitch I'm just sort of, I'm just guessing a bit. So last night I also had to finish off the middle, that middle motif. I'd done the end ones and hadn't done the middle one, not quite sure why. So I had to finish off that one, but I did all of the limey, sort of like lime green. So I did all of that, threaded up a black, finished that, and then hoofed it through there. Some black to do down there more and up there, and then but I really feel like I will get this one done. So that's the project bags by me. I also made the grime guard to match. Threads, again, that's how I used to have my threads, and it's just not worth putting them on floss drops now. I've only probably got to use another 2 or 3 colours and the black. And then that will go in there, which is all of my finished project DMCs. And I did kit up a project, and I sort of went through my stash and went, well, I don't have any of those in stash. So I bought 2 of everything, because then I'll have some in stash, and I'll have I'll have the project ones as well, because the project that I kitted up is a 12-month project. So this project is the Colour Pop Blackwork SAL. So I think the last part came out, I think, at the start of August. So I'm not quite up to date, but I'm also not that far behind, which is why I'm using it for the Vuelta, so that I can get it finished. So that's from Spruce. Craft Co, designed by Elise. She's amazing. So I'm using the DMC. The needle minder was the Caterpillar cross stitch. It's a Caterpillar cross stitch one, but I did get it from Elise. Just need to pick up a clip. So I got that from Elise through her fabric shop, Sold All, but it is a Caterpillar cross stitch one. And yes, I made the project bag. So there's that one. The next one is another one from Elise. You'll see a little bit of a theme. Elise was the lovely, amazing designer from Spruce Craft Co, who got me back into cross stitching. And it wasn't during the pandemic. I collected gin during the pandemic. And I was one of those lucky people who actually got more work during the pandemic than I had prior to. That was just being in the right place at the right time with my employer. So I collected gin. I didn't drink a lot of it, but I've got a lot of it on my shelf. But Elise, I saw some of her patterns. So this next one, and again, I'll put up a picture. So this is the little Christmas shop stitch along. I am up to date except for the back stitching, and I think I'm just going to do that. I'm not going to do it today because I've got a couple of starts that I want to do today. But I will probably do this on Wednesday. I'll get that all caught up on Wednesday. I believe I'm taking Mum over to Ballarat for some treatment, and I can just sit there, and that'll be quite easy to do. I feel really bad folding that now that I've ironed it, but that will be really easy to do. I believe the next one of that should be coming out today, I think. So that's the needle minder that I have been using it. And that's the needle there. I haven't got them here. They're inside in my stitchy corner. I've got a little container with needles and a few bits and bobs in there. I think they're called Black Pony needles. And I got it from the lady at Paddock Lane. I'll just pop her. I went and there was a retreat over in Ballarat, and I went over. I didn't make it off the waiting list, but I was invited to go over and do some shopping because I was so close. They generously let me go over, and I generously repaid all of the vendors by spending lots of money. But they're Black Pony needles, and I think I'll have to order some more. I really, really like them, except on my black project that I've got. So that's the little Christmas shops. It's on 14 count antique white Ada from Sold All. It's a DMC called for, and the start date, I did not write that down. I think August, June, July. So I would have started that in July. That's when it started. So it's one shop a month. So I suppose that was like a Christmas in July. I don't really do that, but yeah. So this is a bag I made. It's just got some foxes, which I thought were really cute, and then it's got some Christmas tree material inside. Now the next one is this is one that I'm doing for my daughter. She chose this. Gosh, it's really, I've had a blanket on me in my stitching corner, and the blanket appears to be all over this, but that's okay. So this one is called, I'm just going to grab it is the Butterfly Fairy by a Stitchy Princess. And I got that from her Etsy store. This was what I've been working on this one furiously. I wanted to finish it by yesterday. That didn't happen, but really I've only got another flower and butterfly with a little square to do. But I noticed last night that up here I'm one stitch out. That was the very, very first bit I did, was that cloud, and I'm out. So the flower doesn't quite work. And I was just going to fudge it. And then I was like, no, it's driving me insane. So all I have to do is just take out, frog some of those stitches, and then I'm just going to move it over one stitch how it needs to be. I'm just going to restitch it so that it's correct. It's not going to play havoc with anything else. So that was Emma's birthday stitch. So her birthday was on the 2nd of August, and that was the day that I started that. And she just wants that finished in the hoop. And I've just got some yellow grosgrain ribbon. So I've already got the bits and pieces to finish that. That's how confident I am that this one's getting finished. I absolutely want this one finished. And again, there's my little project card. And this is another one of Lindsay's needle minders. She does such a beautiful job, doesn't she? They're hand painted. They're just beautiful. I love them. So I'm probably going to have to try and keep my eyes closed today, because I don't think I should be buying any more. I'm going to have a look though. If she was to do a hedgehog, I did suggest she might like to do a hedgehog, because I'm not allowed to have one. That's not so much my husband saying I'm not allowed to have one. That is more Australia saying you can't have a hedgehog, which is really sad, because they're very gorgeous. So that is that one. And this is my last whip. And again, black. I was doing this. This is another one from Elise at Spruce Craft Co. It's another stitch long, but it's on black. It's on black Ada. It's 14 count black Ada, but it's not being my friend. But I picked this one up as the abandoned SAL with Kenny stitches in August, and I should have done way more. I should have absolutely done way more than what I have. I have made some mistakes in here, and I was like, I'm going to have to undo it. I'm going to have to undo it all. And actually, looking at it, it's not that obvious what I've done wrong. So I'm going to leave it. But I did change. That did say Circus. I've put Paddy for my nephew. His name is Patrick, and he will be getting that. So that's the DMC and threads that came with the kit. So if you follow me on Instagram, or I might even have, I don't even know if I talked about it on my last, these are the threads. Beautiful colors, like they're just so gorgeous, like they pop on the black. These two, like, I think the devil had something to do with designing those. But fortunately, I got some floss conditioner in one of my parcels from Laura in the Summer of Stitching, which is just finished. That came from Sew Luxe Co. And you can actually, and I'm been thinking, and again, it's for Patrick, he's 5. You might not be able to tell, but this, the string on the outside of the tent, I did not have the floss conditioner, and I had it for these parts. The difference in the stitching is ridiculous. You can, like, it's all fluffy and furry, and this is so smooth. So it absolutely makes a difference, and it probably doesn't look that bad from a distance, but when I'm stitching on it, because I do use the magnifier and the light on that, because it's black and I don't have the best eyes in the world, so I do pop the light on for that. So that one had a needle minder by Yasmin's Made with Love. Is that the one? I purchased that one. I can't even remember what it's called. And that scissor fob zip pull is from Laura. And this is from someone called Little Boat 88. I didn't purchase this from them directly. I got this from a cross stitch D-stash site on Facebook. So I'm not quite sure who Little Boat 88 is. Maybe they're on Etsy. Maybe I'll see if I can find out. So I'm just writing that down as well. So next, I'm just going to show you. So I'm going to call this Stitchy Kindness. My eldest daughter was up in Sydney last week for a concert. She went up to Sydney for a concert. And she got this from a company called Personalise. So she went in and she picked all the bits and pieces to go on this little pouch. So there's a sausage dog, there's a bee and a daisy, because I'm that Dotty Daisy, and then there's a pink bow and a yellow bow, because pink is Elizabeth's favourite colour and yellow, or that's gold, yellow or gold is Emma's favourite colour. Now, I do a lot of stitching outside of the house, so this is perfect. So inside this, I've got a pair of scissors with the biggest key ring I could find. So this was a key ring, and because I quite often am stitching in my car, it's really easy to find when I drop the scissors, and sadly, I do that a bit. And I've got this tape measure that was also part of something, if you know, you know. This is probably going to go up before the other video, but yep, so there's a tape measure, because you just never know. And then, of course, there's the thread gloss by Sew Luxe Co. And I really I've loved this, and because I have zero willpower, I think really ultimately it could quite possibly be cheaper for me to actually move to the UK, because I accidentally bought the Sew Luxe Co advent box as well. Oops. So again, that had to be converted from pounds to dollars, and then you've got to add on some postage. But anyway, so there'll be some more thread gloss in that, so I'm a bit excited about that. And I have seen some of the needle minders, and they just look divine. They just look beautiful. So that does go with me, and I'm just going to throw that into my sewing bag, or my stitching bag, that I don't leave the house without. Okay, so that is all my whips and my little bit of Stitchy Kindness. I am going to just quickly talk about my stitchy days. So I like to journal, not so much written journaling, but you know, this kind of journaling. So that's the card. That's my project card from my Grow Your Garden. That's my calendar where I've written the days that I've stitched. This page is in grey lead because that's my Floss Tube notes. This is all my challenges. Oh, and on the front, I've also got my starts. So I've got the butterfly fairy I started in August, and the busy as a bee. I know I finished the Grow Your Garden. So I've got my challenges. So I have been doing the Vuelta and the Abandoned Cell. Next month, I've joined a Facebook group, and it's called the Down Under Divas. And so I think it was Stitching with Charlie had mentioned that. I've been watching her Floss Tube. She's lovely. I really have enjoyed watching her Floss Tubes. So she mentioned the Down Under Divas, that they have like a challenge group. And anyway, I thought, oh, I'll just have a bit of a look. So I did a bit of a search on Facebook. If you're going to do that, be very careful. Because Down Under Divas, yes, there's a cross stitching Down Under Divas. There's also a drag queen page called Down Under Divas. So just be careful which one you actually go in. Like I was sitting there and I was like, oh, who are those? What? Oh, that's a real. She sings really well, but what's that got? And I'd not clicked on it, but it had brought up their last post, and I was like, oh, no, that's not the one I want. So yeah, so I'm doing their challenges, and they're quite weighty. I don't know how I'll go, but I think there was something like 11 different prompts, and you just pick the ones that you want to do, and there are different levels and all of that. Now obviously I'm starting in September, and they give out awards and stuff at the end of the year, and that's fine, but I'm just going to give it a go and see how I go. So I've picked 3 prompts that actually fit in with things that I've already that I'm planning to start, that I've got started, so that I can just pull them out. So the first one is pick a project with a head and do 2,000 stitches. The next prompt was pick a project that's less than a year old. So I'm doing a new start on this one, so I'm going to go with that. And then there was one that was something hot. I won't read it. Maybe as I'm doing it next time, I might pop what the prompt is, or I'll tell you what it is. But so I'm going to do those. So that's 3,500 stitches. I feel like that's doable. So I've sort of like gone away from my stitchy days, but that's okay because I'm just reading down this page. So they're my challenges. So the Vuelta continues through September, so I'm going to keep doing that. The Abandoned SAL finished, so I'm going to turn that Neon Circus will be my Wednesday afternoon stitch. So I also don't work on Wednesdays, which is great. So I'm going to make that my afternoon stitch, and I will just try and get like one motif done a week, and it shouldn't take me too much longer. If the motifs are really big, well, it could take me 2 weeks. All I want to do is just get it done for Patrick before he starts school next year. Maybe I'll give it to him for his birthday, which is in February. So he won't have started school by then either, I don't think. Maybe we'll see how we go. It'll be one of those. Now, WhipGo. I have been hearing about WhipGo, and I'm like, where do I find it? How do I know where to find it? I don't know where to find it, so I Googled it. And it's Jessie Marie Makes Stuff. I just Googled it. Where do I find WhipGo? What is WhipGo? And it actually came up with her Floss Tube and what it was and everything. So I went and had a bit of a look. So again, it's the end of the year, so I'm going rogue, which is a bit bizarre because obviously I haven't done it. So I know that the number 13 is still there, which is like pull another number or something. But what I've decided is that I'm just going to pull 2 whips that I really want to get some work done on. And I'm going to work on one for 2 weeks. I'm actually probably going to one day. So I'm not just going to do a little bit. I'm going to do so for one of them, which is the Basket of Cherries no, that's not the basket. This is the Basket of Cherries So the Basket of Cherries by Blackbird Design. So that is the Garden Club series #1. So this, I've had this, well, I'm not going to say a while. I haven't been doing this sort of stitching for a while. And it's got quite a, lucky that's down the bottom, this piece of linen. I might need to put something under it when I put it back into the hoop. The linen's pulled a little bit. So this is, and it's nearly done. Like, it is really nearly done, because the basket is, they're those funny stitches. Let me just see what they're called again. They are, they're the Smyrna crosses. So they're not, it's just those big Smyrna crosses. And then I've just got to do, I've done a little bit down there. So I've just got to do some of the border down here, and the cherries and those crosses. So there's not a lot to do. So I am going to do that as, I've decided that I am getting up to go to work too late, and then I feel like I'm rushing out the door and I'm not organised. So I am going to get up a little bit earlier, and then I can cross stitch for half an hour in the morning. So for that, on the days that I'm doing the Basket of Cherries, I'm going to cross stitch in the morning. I need to be more organised, and if you hang around for my live chat, you'll sort of like work out why. So this one is done on a 28 count platinum Cashel linen that I sourced from a Stitch in Time in Tasmania. Kirraly is the lovely lady's name down there, and I'm using the called for Gentle Arts, and there is 12 in that series, and I do have another 2 of the designs, and I do have the threads. I just don't know whether I'm going to use the same color fabric. I am going to frame those all individually. I've got a place in my house where I know where I want them to be, and this is a project bag that I made. They're a bit floppy, but that's okay. I've worked out what I've been doing wrong with that, so I can fix that. And this is the other that I've decided to pop into my my whip go. This is stuck to the threads were stuck to the needle minder. Excuse me. So I think this was the first one this was my first attempt at stitching on linen. It was either this one or the Basket of Cherries, but I'm pretty sure it was this one. And this is Stitching Quaker by Primrose Cottage. I really love that. It's got all the good things on it. I've really, really, really fallen in love with a Quaker. Don't tell my husband. So that's where I'm at. So I have, and that's sideways. I'm like, well, I don't understand. Why would I have been sewing it like that? No, sorry, let me just swap that around. I'm like, I can see what's at the top. So I've, there we go, that's better. So I started here at the top, and I worked all the way across and all the way down. So I then trimmed my fabric, so that I've got plenty of room to finish it. And I'll probably finish that as a pillow. I quite like the pillow finish. So that's my Quaker, and I thought as my whip go, I would attempt to do one motive a day. So if I don't, I won't finish a motive in 30 minutes. So in the mornings, if I don't finish that motif on that day, I'll just do it that evening. But I just feel like that might help. And again, I don't think the police are going to come around, the cross-stitch police are going to come around and say, hey, lady, you didn't do what you said. But I just felt like that might help me get through them. I'm actually doing those with the DMC conversion on those ones. And that's probably more that I didn't really know what I should have been doing those with. But, you know, you live and you learn. So that one is Stitching Quaker by Primrose Cottage. I'm doing that on a 28 count pewter cashel linen, which I also got from Stitching Time. I'm doing the DMZ conversion, and the bag I got, this is a bag that I bought, and that came from Simply Narelle. She's an lovely Australian lady on Etsy. So that's my whip go. So stitchy days. There were 9 days last month where I didn't do any stitching. It was not a great month. I had one day where I was charting. I'm not necessarily going to be a cross-stitch charter, but I'm just waiting to see if it'll come up on my iPad. So there's a really lovely, there's quite a lovely little, just a quote on, it doesn't want to come up. I've been trying to get it to, it's come up a couple of times today, but then a couple of times it hasn't. So I'll just grab the quote. So there's a lovely quote on the wall where my mum gets her treatment, and it says, I really hope, where is it? I think I might have popped it in. Oh, there it is. So I did the first little bit just on some paper, and then I realised, I do have, I use Threadly to keep track of all of my stitching and all of those good things, and it does have a pattern and gridding drafting section that you can actually use to draft patterns. So the pattern that I'm drafting, it's mainly just words, but there's a few little symbols and stuff, and I just got some alphabet charts off Etsy. I think it came with about I don't know, I think there was 39 different alphabets, and there were some numbers, and it was actually, and it only cost me about $20. So it's just a truly great oncology nurse, is wonderful to find, difficult to part with, and impossible to forget. And then underneath that it says oncology nurse, caring, understanding, hardworking. See also ninja, badass, legend. So I just thought, I've been cross-stitching in that office or in that treatment room since November, and the lovely nurses have been following along and having a bit of a look, and I thought I would like to chart that, stitch it up, and then when Mum finishes her treatment, we can give it to them. So I'm going to do that. I've picked a couple of pinks that I like from Cottage Garden Threads, and we'll see how that goes. It might get done before her treatment finishes, which is really soon. It might not, but it will get done and it will get given to them. So I did 1 day of charting, and my husband did say, please don't sit up all night finishing that. So I do have 2 lines. I think I've got 1 line, 2 lines of the actual, the quote, and then just the little meaning bits down the bottom to do as well. But I did 23 days of stitching, and my biggest day was 1204. I stitched 1204 stitches in a day, and I'm pretty sure that was the Saturday just gone. Yeah, I was at the football pretty much all day. So that's that. I sort of like I've jumped a bit all over the place there, haven't I? So that's my whips. My whip go. I'm changing my neon circus to Wednesday. So my Christmas shop sal, that should come out today, I think. That's the 1st of September, so that one should come out today. I am also doing the ho-ho holiday. See how I'm pointing? There's nothing there, but there will be. So I am doing the ho-ho holiday, and so exciting that while I was sitting here getting everything ready, that dropped into my my email. So I'm very excited. So I feel like this will be reasonably easy to do. I have seen the first, so this is I think it's a 14 week, and there'll be a different motif each week. And today's was Christmas tree. So I just thought, do you know what? I'm just going to grab everything. I want all the amazing, because the threads just look like crazy great. So I jumped online and got my feel like my new best friend, Cherries, at a stitch in time in Tasmania. So I jumped on there, and I've got some 32 count linen in Twilight Blue from Witchell, which was the called for fabric. I love that I could get it. And then it's all of the Weeks Dye Works and Classic Colour Works called for threads. Look at those. I mean, like, they just... I don't want to say they're not Christmassy, because they are. They really are. When you look at them, they are. But they're so bright. I just love it. And this lovely... that I've got on my floss drop and the needle minder, I actually got that again when I went over to Ballarat to the retreat over there. Silks for You, gosh, they're so beautiful. Their silks are lovely. The ladies are lovely as well, and they just had some little bits and pieces like that, and I loved the butterfly and the greens and everything on that. So that's going to be, I'm going to start that today. So that's the Tiny Modernist. I've seen a few people who are going to be stitching that. So I'm a bit excited to do that. And I'm thinking that my project bag is going to be those, because I really like that. And that'll be the inside, because I have said before, I do prefer the vinyl covered bags. I might not, but Wednesday is sewing day in Alison's craft room, so she'll be making some craft bags. So I think that's what I'm going to use for the Tiny Modernist SAL, and so I'm going to pop that just there because I'm taking that inside to start. The next start that I have got is I've heard a lot of people talking about sampler September sampler. So I have a sampler that I had downloaded, that I bought the PDF pattern, which I'm going to put a pretty picture of here. And it is Abecedarian in red. It took me I was like, I don't even know what that's called. And then the lovely Yasmin from Yasmin's Made with Love was talking about it, and I was like, that is nowhere near what I was even heading towards in the pronunciation of that word. But now that I look at it, I'm like, it's absolutely yes. So I'm going to start that one because it's a sampler and it's really lovely. And I am doing that on a piece of 28 count taupe cashel linen from Zweigart. That's one of Yasmin's needle minders that came with the Grow Your Garden. So I'm going to do it on that. And then I didn't know what colours to choose. So I ordered 2 colours from Cottage Garden Threads. So this one is called Victor and this one is called Raspberry. And I can't decide. I think Victor's probably the one I'm going to go for. So I think Victor is going to be the winner of this race. So now I need to order some more because I think it said that I'm going to need, if I'm doing 2 over 2, and I'll do it a little test square tonight, whether I'm going to do 2 over 2 or 1 over 2, but I think I'm going to do 2 over 2. I'm going to need another 9 skeins. So, which is fine. I don't mind because it'll take me a while to get through the first one. But I know that Cottage Garden Threads have recently changed their inventory, the way that they have set it up on their website. So yeah, so I think that's going to be the one, and I will save the raspberry for something else. I don't know what. Maybe am I doing that? I don't know. I think I've got some fruits from Yasmin that I want to do in Cottage Garden Threads because I've bought the threads for one of them. So that is going to be my sampler for sampler September. I don't know whether I had dreamed that or whether I heard it. I am sure that that's a thing. I'm sure it's a thing. I'm sure I'll find a hashtag. I'm sure I'll find something that talks about sampler September. And that is going to be my less than 1 year old project for my Diva, Down Under Diva challenge, because the chart has 2025 on it. I've not started it. So in my mind, that's less than a year old. So, and not for any particular reason, but just because I really like those. I think that'll be the outside and that'll be the inside. That'll be the project bag for that one. I'm not trying to match them or anything. I mean, yes, I'm doing a Christmas one for the Christmas because that just makes sense. But other than that, not really. So the next start that I've got, and I've desperately been waiting to start this one. I have so gone to start this so many times, but I haven't, which is probably stupid because I could have given myself a bit of a head start. That's okay. So again, I've got this one PDF. It's in Markup RXP. So there, I'm just putting, I'll put the one that I'm working on is here. The whole thing is here. I just assume I can do that. I thought I was going to have to get my child to show me how to do that. but I didn't. I actually worked out how to do that, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. So 4 seasons, spring, because today is the first of spring. It's sort of, it doesn't feel a bit that way. Just have a drink. Now, I am doing this on 32 count. So this is my first 32 count. Oh, and it's raw silver Belfast linen. Oh yes, you can see the sparkle. So I have this piece of fabric because when I ordered it for a different project, it folds. No, and that's, I'm such a, see, I think that is actually the piece that I reordered. It is. Just, I might just have to, this is my little container of kitted up projects. And this will have, how bad would it have been if I had done it on the wrong piece of fabric? Because I bought the piece of fabric, yes. So this was the piece of fabric that I purchased, and I thought it folded this way, but it doesn't. It folds this way. So I'm doing the 4 seasons on that. I just thought that it's a really lovely fabric. And what I had purchased it for initially, which I'll show you in a minute, which I'm not starting until January, that's going to be, instead of doing a monthly stitch, I'm going to be doing a 6-weekly stitch because I've got 9 things that I need to stitch, and so I'll do that. But I'll talk about more about that in January. But so this is the fabric that I'm using, and it's really gorgeous. It is lovely. But as I said, it's my first turn at 32 count. So this is definitely going to be an inside. Now I did just have a needle minder then. It was the strawberry needle minder from Laura. And I will, oh, there it is. So it's the strawberry needle minder from Laura, Cotton and Clay. So there's that, and the reason that I've got the strawberry on there, it has nothing to do with the pattern. It's just that I got this floss drop again from the retreat in Ballarat, and I've just put that strawberry on it, and then I've just put a couple of extra clear floss drops on the end. But I got my little dymo machine out. Is that what you call it? Your dymo machine. Just put all the numbers on the back there. So I was doing that last night, but I'm glad now that I've noticed that I had the wrong piece of fabric. So I'm starting on the spring because today is the first day of spring, so 1st of September. Our seasons change with the months. We don't go on the solstice and all of those things. So spring, 1st of September. And then on the 1st of December, I will be ready to start the summer. And then on the 1st of March, that's when all the cool cats are born, by the way, just putting it out there. So on the 1st of March, I'll start the autumn. And then on the 1st of June, I'll start the winter. So I'm really excited to start that as well. So that is also going in my sewing bag, because what I do is all the whips that I'll be working on this month, I pop them in that bag and they're always in there. And so that is, so the spring lady I've got in my Down Under Divas challenge project with a head. She has a head, so 2,000 stitches on that. Oh, we'll see. So this is the fabric that I've got. I've had this for ages. So I got this from Spotlight. It's Jocelyn Proust Designs. So I just really love it. It's got a real Barbara Anna vibe to it, I reckon. I could be wrong, but I really, you know, those birds. And then I've just got a pink on pink polka dot. So this piece of fabric, which is now going, oh, I better put that's my project card. And so the start date on all of those will be September the 1st. In they go. And the Christmas shop SAL, I have been using that. I've been stitching that at the football and netball. So I've been getting lots and lots and lots done on that. So this piece of fabric is for the, and again, from my very good friend, Kiralee at A Stitch in Time. So this is the glitter house, and there's 9 of them. So I've got 1 and 2, and then that was the called for fabric. So it wasn't just, yeah, that's the only reason that I'm using this fabric on that is because I had ordered the wrong size fabric. Totally my mistake. I just ordered the wrong size. And then when I got it, I was like, oh, that doesn't, no, I don't know. And so I've got the called for their classic colour works, and then I think that's a Krynic for those. Now, the reason I chose this, and I sort of like I got it thinking that, well, I would start it now, but I was never going to get it finished for Christmas, and I would like to do a wall hanging. So I thought, rather than have them individually done, So Me Sarah. So I will write her down. I won't need to do any shout outs because I've pretty much mentioned you all. So Me Sarah had been doing that, and I thought, yes, that's how I would like to do that, and that's how I would like to do it. And then I was also thinking that I would like to have a stitch that went for the whole year next year. And yes, I've got the 4 Seasons one, and that gives me 3 months to do each of the lovely ladies. But I thought this one has got 9 in the village, and if I give myself 6 weeks, I should be able to get those done. So that's why I actually bought that fabric. Now, the last prompt that I've got for my Down Under Divas, and I haven't ironed this one because I didn't do it until the very last minute. And again, I'll pop the picture here. It's the Caterpillar Cross Stitch, Spill the Tea, and the prompt was something hot. Well, I prefer my, well, I don't prefer my tea at all, but I prefer my, oh, sun's coming out right through there. I prefer my coffee quite warm, so the bottom bit's coffee. So I have to do 500 stitches on that one. So that's going to be achievable. So that is my plan for that one. And then on Wednesday, when I do sewing, I think Mum's got treatment on Wednesday morning. Then I'll come home and I'll do some sewing. I'll do some bags. I've got that for my 100 hours that I'm doing. It's not coming out this month because I've got far too many other things to do. Might come out the next month. We'll see how we go. I might make it whip go the next month. Because I'm going rogue. I'm just, they're calling numbers. I will jump on and go, yay, look at those numbers. And I'll go, whoa, I'm just going to pick 2 projects that I want to work on. So I got that from Spotlight, and I just thought that was really cute. And I'll put I might even use that as the inside material as well. But I did buy some heavier interfacing so that my bags stay a little bit a little bit stiffer. They're quite floppy, which is fine. It's actually they're doing what they need to do. So that's everything. That's all of the stitchy related stuff I have. I'm just going to do a little bit of a life. It's not even an update. It's more like a I'll tell you how I got to where I suppose I am. So in 2012, I think it was New Year's Eve, I stupidly said, oh, good Lord, thank God this year's over. Next year could not possibly be any worse. So that was in 2012. Well, the next year was, it wasn't great. So Alex was diagnosed with floor of mouth and tongue cancer on my birthday that year. So that was great. So the girls were quite young. So in 2012, they were 5 and they were 6 and 7. So very young. And so off Alex and I went. So we lived in Canberra at the time. So off we went to Sydney for 7 weeks while he had surgery. So we lived in Canberra. We went up to Sydney, and the girls came here to Victoria, to Maryborough, to stay with my parents for 7 weeks while Alex was having his surgery. So all of it wasn't great, but we did what we had to do. I did what I had to do, and we got through that, and we thought we were good. There was no chemo, there was no radiation, there was nothing. They were sure that they had gotten all of their clear margins, and away we went. So we went home, and Alex was just, he had some scars. He was, ear to ear sort of surgery, where, I won't get into the specifics. But he was rubbing some cream into all the dry skin around his neck one day, and he found a lump, which he was like, I don't think that's meant to be there. So he went to his specialist, and they went, no, sorry, that is not meant to be there. So back to Sydney we went, and that was only 6 months later. So 2013 wasn't better than 2012 by a long shot. So I suppose that was then, and we were both in the Defence Force at the time. I was doing some reserve time. I had discharged after having the girls. So I was doing some reserve time, and Alex was full-time. So we just waited, because strangely, for lots of different reasons, again, don't ask any questions, I won't tell you any lies. For lots of different reasons, you have to be medically fit to discharge. So we waited for Alex to be medically fit, and then we both discharged on the same day, and we packed up the girls and we moved back to Maryborough. So we moved back here. Alex loves it here. He loves the country lifestyle. He wanted chickens. He wanted, a small holding type thing. I was like, I really don't. So we were lucky enough to get a bit of a compromise where we got 2 blocks right in the city, right in town, right around the corner from where my parents were living. And so there were chickens, there's a vegetable garden, we've got fruit trees, and we've got a great big huge backyard, but we are literally 10-minute walk from the centre of town. So we came here. Now, one of the reasons that we did come here was, yes, Alex loved it. I'd never seen myself moving back to my hometown, but again, it's a great place to grow up. And my kids, whilst they weren't happy when we first moved, they're more than happy to live here now. And so we moved back here because my father was quite unwell. So it was more of a to come and help mum, and not look after dad, but to look after her while she was looking after dad, to just give her some respite and all of those sorts of things. So we did that. My father passed away. I think it was probably 7 or 8 years ago now. And my mum was living with my brother, so in our family home. But that they did sell that, and so mum moved into. She moved into. We had an investment property, but we did then sell that and buy a unit. So mum was living there, but mum was diagnosed with breast cancer just at the end of last year. We've been extremely lucky. Within, I think, 2 weeks, she'd been in and had her surgery and was starting her treatment. So she's had chemotherapy, she's had radiation, and she's now just having immunotherapy every 3 weeks. And now I have 3 brothers. None of them live here. So I've been doing mum's treatments across to Ballarat, which is a 75-kilometre drive. So it's sort of like an hour drive there and an hour drive back, plus any treatment time and all of those sorts of things. So when she was having her radiation, we had to drive her over every day for 3 weeks. So we did a bit of a roster. My husband, myself, and my youngest daughter. My eldest daughter doesn't drive, never has, never will, and that's her choice, and I don't have a problem with that. So the 3 of us were taking mum over. But also at the start of the year, Alex was diagnosed with tongue cancer. Again, different cancer, same place as the first one. So he also had some surgery, but there was no chemo or radiation this time. The problem is that he is now missing nearly half his tongue. So it does make life a little bit difficult. And so that is probably why there was a lot of time last month that I didn't do any stitching, because I was at rock bottom. And I do have those periods, because someone's looking after mum and someone's looking after Alex, and that someone is me. And I don't have an issue with that, because that's my job. Sometimes it just does become a little bit difficult. So that is why my husband, God bless his cotton socks, lets me just do my cross stitch. He doesn't question it. He doesn't have an issue with how much I cross stitch. He probably sort of like goes, really, how much did we spend on cross stitch? And I go, whatever, how much did we spend on chickens? Because I did mention in my last, in my first video, cross stitch math is like chicken math. If you can explain chicken math to me in a way that works, I'll explain the cross stitch math in a way that works for you. It'll never work. So you know, the Caterpillar cross stitch advent calendar that I bought, and then I bought Laura's advent calendar, and then I've got the Solux advent calendar, and I just don't care. So he doesn't question that, which is fabulous. He's brilliant about it. But today, and he brought me out some lunch, so I'm just gonna show, because I took a photo. He made me some lunch, and my daughter had made the cup of coffee, because I'm in my craft room, which is a shed, external of the house. All I need is a toilet out here, and I would never have to go inside. So he brought that out because he makes jams, and he runs a jam company called the Maryborough Jam Company, but he can't taste it. So I've been taste testing lime and ginger marmalade today. which he has made before, and it's divine. But then he also did a blood orange and whiskey marmalade. Now, he's never made that before, and he's making that for a marmalade show. So I really hope he gets someone else to taste it as well. I thought it was lovely. It was just really, really lovely. I'm not a big whiskey drinker, but the taste of there was a bit of whiskey at the front, but then it was just blood orange, and it was lovely. So he brought it out and was like, do you like this? Do you like this? And I had a taste. Yes, but I can't taste the whiskey. He said that's because there's none in there. And then he brought it out again after the whiskey was in it. And I was like, yes, actually, I really like that. So then he brought me out some crumpets. So that is my life story. That is why I cross stitch, because I can sit down, I can put on a floss tube, I can put a book in, and prior to doing as much cross stitching as I am now, I was just mindlessly scrolling on my phone, and I felt like I was wasting my life inside my phone. So now I'm just videoing and uploading and all of those things. But some other really great news was my daughter, who she plays netball. They won their first week of finals. Yay. So they had last week off, but we did have 6 of our 7 netball teams in, and 2 of our junior football teams. So the 2 junior football teams both lost last week. One didn't get a second chance, one got a second chance, and they won their next game. The last 3 minutes, it was terrible. They'd been down for the whole game, and they ended up winning by 9 points in the last 3 minutes. It was nerve-wracking. So Elizabeth's team won the first week. We had a couple of teams win the first week, so they got a week off. The team that she coaches, they won that first week. They played again on Saturday, and they did not win. So that was the end of their finals, but they're gorgeous. The little under 11s, they have improved so much this year. And I think there's only 3 girls on that team who had played netball before. So to make it to the second week of the finals was great. Then we had another 3 netball teams play over this last weekend. 2 won, 1 lost. So next week we've still got 1 junior football team in the finals. So this is the semi-finals next week. Yep. So we've got a football team in the semi-finals, and we've got 4 netball teams in the semi-finals. So fingers crossed that we get some good some good results next weekend, and that's where I get a lot of my cross stitch done, because I do sit in the car. But once the netball season finishes, which will be in 2 weeks' time, because semi-finals next weekend, then grand final the weekend after, I'm back to Saturday craft club, and normally that goes from 1 till 3 on a Saturday. I'm about to make that 11 to 3 for me. I'm going to go down at 11 o'clock. I'm going to set up. I'm going to start. I'm going to have lunch, and then I'm just going to stay until 3. I don't care. And Emma, my eldest, she comes to that with me. So I think that's it. If I've mentioned you, and I've mentioned lots of people, I will tag you. And again, thank you everyone for watching. If you followed me this far, thank you. I'd really love it. If you wanted to subscribe, click the bell. And I'll see you on the next one, probably in about 2 weeks' time, just so that I can give you a bit of an update about how all my new starts are going and how my challenges are. Lovely talking with you again. Happy stitching, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
But something deep within, something new, lets me emerge.